Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, the new state-of-the-art spring training home with the Chicago Cubs is open for business in Mesa. We welcome Arizona's official state historian in honor of Arizona's upcoming birthday, and we'll learn about a new urban landscape feature, the Pocket Park. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. The ribbon cutting is done and the games are about to begin at the Chicago Cubs' new spring training stadium in Mesa. And here to talk about the new facility and what it means for the city is Mesa Mayor Scott Smith. Good to see you again.
Thanks for having me, Ted.
So where exactly, I mean, this is a simple question. Most folks I think know, but for those who don't, where is this stadium?
Well, the stadium is right at the Riverview Park, which is literally at the intersection of the 101 and the 202, almost dead center in the valley.
And the stadium, you mentioned Riverview Park. There still is a Riverview Park, correct?
Well, that's the exciting thing about this. It's not just the Cubs field in the stadium, but this is part of a 126-plus acre complex, which includes things that are unseen and unheard of in baseball, and certainly here in Arizona, and that is a large city park, Riverview Park, which was completely rebuilt. It has some really nice things like a 50-foot climbing tower that is you don't see anywhere, not only in Arizona, but in the entire world. It's the tallest in the world. It has an incredible new lake where you can fish, and that's all connected through a beautiful paseo and walkways into the stadium. So it's got it all. It's got a complete experience.
Except for those of us golfers, we don't have Riverview Golf Course anymore.
Well, you know, progress sometimes is tough. And I miss Riverview Golf Course like everyone else does. But if you could have seen the 30-plus thousand people who showed up 2-3 weeks ago for the open house and seen the smile on the kids and the families as they went through the park and played in the new playground area and then walked to the stadium. And to many of them, the park was more impressive than the stadium was. You say, okay, this is what building things for the community is all about.
How was this done for the community? We've talked before, you were on the program before as we kind of went through this process. Not the easiest.
No, it wasn't. It was a 5-year process to get through this. And we in Mesa, we had to take it to the voters. So we had to make sure that they truly believed that this investment was something which benefited everybody. You know, one of the big arguments is you're building stadiums for millionaires. And the fact of the matter is yes, millionaires will play there, but they can play anywhere. Our citizens in our community believed that they needed a place to go together. And they liked the fact that we were not only building a stadium and a spring training facility, but we were truly creating an experience that they can go to year round. And they passed it overwhelmingly. Mesa voters, conservative voters, they agreed that this was a great investment for our community.
It was also a situation where the Cubs were being courted and quite heavily by Florida. I mean, that was a factor in all this, wasn't it?
It was not only a factor, it was a fact.
Yeah.
And we checked out the things. The Cubs never came in and said, oh, if you don't give us this, we're going there. They never pitted us against it, but it was obvious they had options. And all we asked the Cubs was for an opportunity. We said, listen, we get it that you have opportunities and you have options, but give us a chance to build something. They never said you have to do this dollar amount or that dollar amount. We figured out what would be reasonable. And actually, there's a lot of stadiums that have been built recently that are much more expensive than what this Cubs stadium is. But I don't think there's anyone that creates an experience like this does.
How much did the stadium and the project cost? Who's paying for it?
The whole project, which includes the stadium, practice field, the entire park, and the Wrigleyville West, was $84 million plus about $18-19 for infrastructure. Mesa taxpayers, through the sale of land, through the sale of non-productive land, we weren't making any money on it. We sold that land. We recently closed the first portion of that, which is over $130 million. That's what's being used to pay for the stadium. It's really a transfer of non-productive assets into productive assets. Things that will generate economic development over $130 million a year and quality of life issues for our community for generations.
Some of that economic development, I know the idea behind this ballpark is to keep the Cubs in Mesa, but also keep the Cub fans in Mesa, because a lot of times the Cub fans, they head to Scottsdale, they head to Tempe. This Wrigleyville West or whatever, what is that all about and how far along is it?
Well, what it's about is it's creating an environment where literally you can go in the morning, you can go fishing at the park if you want, or hang out with your family. And then right outside the stadium will be this paseo with entertainment, restaurants, a Sheraton Hotel has been announced and will go up right next to the stadium along this paseo as the first development part of Wrigleyville West. The idea is to create a year-round entertainment and hotel and business center that will thrive during spring training, But in the other months of the year, people will still be able to go to, and it's off to a great start.
Off to a great start. What does that mean? What will we see out there?
Well, right after spring training is done, you'll see the breaking ground on a full-service Sheraton hotel.
Okay.
And if you think about what is this like, think of like Carolyn Commons and how it's an urban type street scene, and that's what you'll have. And instead of the shops, you'll have a hotel right there. You'll have restaurants. You'll have other entertainment venues. Then you have a beautiful park, and then the stadium all together.
Is there concern that Riverview Mall down the way is going to lose some business? I know that there's a lot going on. You've got two big malls. You got Tempe and Scottsdale not far away. That's a lot of stuff going on.
Well, I can tell you in the short time that the park has been open, the Riverview Shopping Center is ecstatic. The reason being is it's drawn people in that ordinarily would not have come to that area. They come and enjoy the park. They've come and enjoy the tours of the stadium. And guess what? They go right over to Riverview to eat, to maybe have a drink or two. They really stay in the area. We're finding they're already staying in the area. And we think that long term, it'll generate new traffic that just simply isn't going there right now.
And before we let you go, let's talk about a little baseball here. As far as the stadium itself is concerned, the architectural idea behind it, does it look a little like Wrigley? Does it look a little bit like the South? What does it look like?
A little bit of both. We didn't start out to make a replica of Wrigley Field. But as we got into it, some of the colors and some of the way it's presented give you a real feel that it gives a similar feel to Wrigley Field. The idea was not to copy Wrigley Field, except for in the experience. We wanted fans to feel comfortable, to feel intimate, and that's the one thing I've heard from fans. This is really a comfortable place, an intimate place, a place where I can feel like I'm enjoying baseball, but doing it in a place that I can actually be close to the action, be close to the fans.
Well, if it's anything like Wrigley Field, having been there, the last thing those fans care about is baseball. They're so busy having a big party out there in the stands.
Welcome to spring training. We actually, even out in the left field, we've got bleachers up on top of buildings. You can even replicate what it's like to be across the street and watch the game. I think that there's a lot of great venues in this valley, and this is really more than about Mesa. This is about the valley, about spring training. I believe that Cubs Field will become the gym and will become the place for people together so they can have fun and watch other people.
All right.
And maybe watch a little bit of baseball.
We'll see about that.
Yeah.
Mayor, good to see you. Thanks for joining
Good for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
Tomorrow, Arizona celebrates 102 years of statehood, and more than a few major political figures have helped the state reach its latest birthday. Here to talk about Arizona's history and the political names that helped shape that history is Arizona's official state historian, Marshall Trimble. Good to see you again.
It's good to be here again. I'm just glad to be back.
Well, good. Well, we got you back because it's a big day. It's always a big time. After 100 years, it seems like everyone gets excited every year. Before we get to some of these names, real quickly, the road to statehood, kind of rocky, wasn't it?
It was really rocky. It had a lot of reasons, and it varied over the years depending on when you're talking about. Might have been gold or silver, the prices, the gold and silver standard, and the Apache Wars and the Cochise County fighting down there and the Pleasant Valley War. It kind of shifted as we came closer to the 20th century, shifted more to political reasons.
Yeah, I know mining was so big in the early years. I mean, mining really shaped the state early on.
It really did. There were others, the cattle and the railroads and such, but mining was king.
Well, speaking of king, some folks still consider this guy the king of the state of Arizona, and that is Carl Hayden. Who was Carl Hayden?
He was an interesting man. His father came actually to Tucson in the 1850s, one of the first Americans to pull into Tucson. So he was a real product of Arizona. Carl was too, and he was a sheriff of Maricopa County before he became the first senator. So he was interesting, and even made the first in America, the first captured train robbers driving a car.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
Explain.
In 1910. Well, it made him so famous. That was why when the election for senator came, Carl Hayden was a household name. The two train robbers, two brothers, the Woodson brothers, robbed a train down by Maricopa, and he went down, and they headed across the desert, which was foolish, even on a horse. They were headed for Mexico, and he was smart enough to appropriate requisition a car for himself, and he caught up with him out there. They were about played out.
And we just saw him with JFK. Carl Hayden served from 1927 to 1969. That's amazing.
It was at the time the longest. Of any. I think it might have been surpassed by somebody, but he was effective right up to the end.
Indeed, and I know he was referred to as the silent senator, didn't say much, didn't have to say much. I mean, he was big on environment and reclamation and these sorts of things. A lot of the names we're going to talk about tonight, very big on the environment.
He was called the workhorse, and most of the time he had a show horse with him, Barry Goldwater and Henry F. Ashurst first. So they were kind of show horses, and they were out there, the public very much aware. He worked quietly in the background, but boy, was he effective.
He sure was. Another effective Arizonan early on is Ernest McFarland. Tell us about him. It seems like he just did about everything.
He's another one of my favorites. Again, out of Oklahoma and a little small town judge.
Real quickly, second from the left there, that's Carl Hayden on the left and McFarland second from the left.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, and go ahead, please.
And he was a judge down in Pinal County and then became senator, and he was the father, we call him the father of the GI Bill, which I think was the smartest piece of legislation this country ever passed, because when the GIs were coming home and they can now go to college, and that education, and I always tell people that education, they made more money when they graduated, and they paid more in taxes, so it was the best investment this government ever made. Yes. And I think it should continue to get people educated so they can make more money and pay more taxes.
There you go. Indeed, Father, the GI Bill, that's amazing, but also kind of laid the foundation for the Central Arizona Project along with Carl Hayden, didn't he?
That fight had been going on for a long time, and that's something I wanted to really emphasize tonight, was how they worked together. They were Democrats and Republicans, and we'll be going through some of them, I think, here. But they worked for Arizona. Didn't have a personal agenda here. It was to bring water into the central part of Arizona, mainly Tucson and Phoenix.
And again, it sounds like McFarland, along with Carl Hayden, they didn't quite succeed themselves, but boy, they certainly laid the foundation for others. We'll get to that in a second. The Udall brothers. What a family! What an achieving family! Talk to us about Stuart Udall. Stuart
Udall. Both of them have deep roots in Arizona, and Stuart was Kennedy's choice for Secretary of Interior. He was a congressman in Congress before that, and had a distinguished career in Congress. And then he was the first Arizonan to be picked on a cabinet.
Yes.
When John F. Kennedy picked him.
And big on, obviously, environmental issues, clean air, clean water, these sorts of things. It just seems like every person we talk about, they're not necessarily environmentalists, although Stuart Udall could certainly be defined as such, but the environment, it's coming from the West, isn't it? It's a big factor.
Yes. Arizona was really blessed. I can't think of another state that was blessed with more capable leaders than we had during those years, actually through the 20th century.
And Stuart Udall, as you mentioned, served in the House, Interior Secretary, had to leave Congress to take on the cabinet position, succeeded in Congress by little brother Mo.
By Mo, and Mo was one of the greatest, I thought. He ran for president, was too funny to be president, the title of a book he wrote.
Yes.
But he was one of the most loved and respected men on both sides of the aisle, and I always think that's the judge of a good statesman, not a politician, a statesman.
We see him introducing Jimmy Carter there. He ran in the primaries against Jimmy Carter. He was considered the liberal alternative to Jimmy Carter. An Arizonan considered a liberal alternative.
That's right. Yeah, but I think Mo would have made a great president.
Yeah,
he would have. He
certainly
would have been fine.
Good for sound bites, that's for sure.
Yeah, he has that line he had. He said he went in the primary in New Hampshire. He walked into a barber shop and said, I'm Mo Udall, I'm running for president. And they said, yeah, we were just laughing about that this morning.
There you go.
So he wrote a book, took that for a title.
And we should mention as well the Udall brothers, LDS family there with a lot of history in Arizona. The LDS influence, pretty strong in Arizona.
Yes, it is, and out of St. John's. And we've had some great Mormon politicians and representatives here in this state.
And it's interesting, the Udalls were liberals, and now it seems like a lot of the LDS representatives are conservatives. It just sees how the pendulum switches.
Shift,
yes.
yes.
All right, speaking of conservatives, let's get to Mr. Conservative.
Okay.
Barry Goldwater.
Barry Goldwater wasn't really, I don't think he was really planning to run. I think Howard Pyle, the story he told anyway, was Howard Pyle. He told Howard Pyle to run for governor, and Howard said, I won't win. And Barry said, I know you won't, but you got to run. And he won. And so 2 years later, McFarland was Senate Majority Leader. And they told, Barry said the same thing. He said, I can't beat that guy, and I'll lose. And Powell says, I know you will, but you got to run. And he pulled at the time, the most stunning political upset in Arizona history.
Born in Phoenix to a family of merchants, and I think longtime Arizonans will still remember Goldwater's department store.
Yeah, and his grandfather, Mike, was one of the first to set up a business here in Arizona when we became a territory.
Indeed, sir, and I think he serviced mostly, the customers were the miners we were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barry Goldwater obviously ran for president in 1964, lost huge. I think only Arizona and about 4 or 5 southern states voted for him. Yet that laid the foundation for a conservative uprising in later years, didn't it?
It sure did. It sowed the seeds that made Ronald Reagan president, and that was the start. But Barry's probably, in my opinion, and I watch these things, the most respected loser in the presidential race in American history, I think. He never lost the respect. He returned back to the Senate, and he was always thought of as, especially the way things turned out with Johnson.
Yeah, well, and exactly.
It made Barry look awful good.
Well, and not only that, but Mr. Conservative, and was the conscience of a conservative, his book and the whole 9 yards. By 1989, he looked at the Republican Party and saw some conservatives. He called them a bunch of kooks. I mean, he spoke his mind, didn't he?
He was very pragmatic. I reviewed a new book on him recently, and he was a very pragmatic man. And he shifted. He knew. He changed with the times, and today he'd be called a liberal Republican, or maybe a liberal Democrat
I think he
even.
Was called that even,
and that's too bad. But what I have always respected about him was he was a straight shooter. I worked with him for about 20 years. I introduced him at the Goldwater Lecture Series for that long, and I got to know him, and we never talked politics. We talked history. He loved history.
There you go.
But you'd get a straight answer out of him.
You sure did. John Rhodes, when we talked about Central Arizona Project, foundation laid before, John Rhodes was really there when it happened, wasn't he?
John Rhodes was, and another one of the outstanding legislators, congressmen we had, came in 1952 with Goldwater. Was not a long-time native. He came here as a result of World War II. He was stationed out here and decided to come to Arizona, settled in Mesa. And he later was, Senate Majority Leader, House Majority Leader.
You go.
And when Nixon was talked into resigning, there were 3 people in the room, and 2 of them were Arizonans, John Rhodes and Barry Goldwater.
Isn't that something? And he served 30 years, was succeeded by John McCain in the House. Paul Fannin is a name that I think maybe a lot of people who are new to the state may not recognize. Tell us about Paul Fannin.
Paul Fannin was governor, again, a longtime Arizonan, a noted sports figure here when the heyday of softball, and he still loved to talk about it. Every time he and I talked, we talked about old sports. And he became governor, was a good governor, and they were working on that CAP together. He was a part of that too. And again, in the Senate, he was very effective when he was in the Senate and working on that, bringing the CAP. We had a tough fight because from the 1920s on, California was the giant to the west, and they were the giant water guzzler, and we were fighting to get our share of the water.
It's interesting, every single person we've talked about so far had some sort of hand in the Central Arizona Project, getting that Colorado River water to Phoenix, which is the biggest reason Phoenix is what it is today.
It wouldn't, you're right, that 13,000 square mile watershed up there, and all of the runoff runs right into the Salt River, which runs through the heart of this valley. And when they completed that dam, the future of Central Arizona, the valley especially, was insured.
The last person I want to talk about is a trailblazer on so many fronts, Sandra Day O'Connor. Not necessarily an Arizona native, but boy, sure feels like it, doesn't it?
Well, she was kind of, I think of her as a native, because the Day Ranch had been there since 1880. Harry Day, Henry Clay Day before was and her dad was Harry Day. I spent some time with her on the ranch over there in Duncan. She went to school, was born in El Paso, because really that was the hospital, the nearest hospital, and she was educated there too, because of it was a chance to get her a better education. So, but she's still an Arizonan, and I think I think she had such an important role on the Supreme Court. What I admire the most about Justice O'Connor was you never knew. She made the decision. Some of these you can predict what they're going to vote. You know ahead of time how they're going to vote. With her, she studied it, and she was brilliant. And she studied the issues before she cast her vote, and she surprised a lot of people with her votes. But she was to me the most important member of that court when she was on it, I thought.
We've only got 30 seconds left. All these people, they all seem to have something in common. What do you think it is?
They're Arizonans.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
Justice O'Connor probably explained it the best. We out here in the West, and it isn't just Arizona, but out here in the West, we learn to we pick up and we learn to take charge of things, and maybe it's because of the ruralness of us, but. Kids born on ranches grow up with responsibilities, and I think it's just the nature of Arizonans. And we've had, like I said, we've been blessed with so many great leaders. I hope the 21st century has the same.
Well, we're 102 years and counting. Marshall, good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
It's nice to be here, Ted.
We want to hear from you. Submit your questions, comments, and concerns via email at arizonahorizon@asu.edu.
Phoenix has a new urban park thanks to some coffee lovers. Producer Christina Estes and photographer Juan Magana take us there.
Our business is Shine Coffee. My husband and I are the owners.
We started about a year ago.
I'm good, how are you?
And we conceptualized this business as a walk-up bar.
But it didn't take Christian Bluck and Laren Calloway long to realize their shop wouldn't be a grab-and-go kind of place.
I grew up on the coast.
Where?
Instead, they created a destination for people who live and work in Midtown Phoenix.
I'm looking at, a couple hundred people's homes across the street. We're right on the street, right on the sidewalk. People walk up, park their bike, park their car, and come and talk to us, order their coffee. And there's really this open exchange going on.
Really?
But there was an early problem, a pretty ugly one.
There was a lot of old concrete and broken concrete.
A rough lot didn't encourage much hanging out, so they brainstormed ways to create a welcoming outdoor space. Laren immediately dismissed the idea of a fenced-off patio.
Because we're in this urban environment, closeness, proximity, and interaction are really innate components of why people want to have a business or live here. So it just felt really contradictory to do something that was exclusionary.
They'd already transformed a 1943 pool house into their coffee shop. Now they needed to turn a neglected piece of land into Vernon Avenue Pocket Park. A pocket park is built on private land but accessible to the public. Laren found an architect to donate the design and went online in search of cash.
In 25 days, we raised $23,000 from 312 backers on the Kickstarter campaign.
We were delightfully surprised. People want to better their community. They want to see lovely spots like this where they can sit, and it's wonderful to see people now enjoy this space.
They planted desert-friendly trees that will provide summer shade. installed an irrigation system, and put out lighting, tables, and chairs.
We expanded the sidewalk 2 feet, so now people can walk. 2 people with their 2 dogs can walk down, our little patch of sidewalk.
They also added a patch of grass where they plan to hold yoga classes, movie nights, and other events.
So let me know what you think of this.
Still to come, more furniture to encourage more community interaction.
It's very integral, the communal, a big table, some benches. I think people instinctively look for that. They instinctively look for a place to sit, to be, to be centered.
Thanks, ladies.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
We loved the neighborhood. We loved the opportunity to be a business that people could walk or ride the light rail to. And we loved the idea that we're part of pioneering this really cool infill project of retail in Midtown.
Shine Coffee is planning a grand opening party next month to thank their customers and those who donated to the park. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.